Hey, what's going on guys? It's Mark back in the soon-to-be coral room, doing a little bit more work on it. All the sockets are in, got all the power in now. Not sure if I said that on the last video. Just been doing a few little bits, plugging up some bigger holes in the block work, and before I give it another little repaint. But what I thought I'd do first is to build my little coral table down there. So I've built up the main platform at the bottom, the main stand, which you've got nicely screwed, nice and secure all the way around there. Now this is a 3-foot long table by 28 inches deep that way, and it's only going to be about 12 inches a foot high. It's 30 centimeters high, so it's not going to be a massive table. But with coral you don't need a huge table, you just need something nice, good circulation, nice little flow, something that you can get a good stretch of light going all over the top. We've got all the lights, that's another side of the thing we can get into at a later date. But what I've got to do now, obviously you can see I've made the stand. Sump's got to go in underneath there, so once the sump's in I can put a separation piece, another strengthening leg in the middle there, and just loosely bracket screw it in underneath so we can remove it at any time to get the sump out if we need to on a later date, if we have any leaks or anything like that. But hopefully we won't. I never had one in the past, but never say never, that's what they say. I've got some vinyl over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the base of the of that tank in black, because I want the corals to really show up nice, and with a black base, because there's not going to be any substrate in there, it's going to be a lot nicer just to see that dark base. It's going to get rid of it. If you're going to get little bits of algae and stuff in there, and it does camouflage that and keeps everything looking a little bit nicer when we do it. But I've got some 10mm floated glass there, which we had cut before Christmas now, before my silly back went and exploded on me. But now I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you very much, everyone, for your comments on my back, and I really do appreciate that. And yeah, I'm really on the mend now, so I'm going to take it easy. I had loads of timber around the house, like all these 2B1s. That was an old bed frame, to be honest, an old bed frame that we had many moons back, which somebody made, and I just stripped it all down, and I kept that 2x1 inch timber, and that's done really well. Instead of cutting a nice big piece of ply out to go in there, I've just utilised what I've got, and I've just sandwiched all those across there and put them all in. So we've got a nice little inch solid pine base there for extra strength, and some supports going that way underneath as well, and a nice piece of inch insulation on the top, because we know how that's going to be carrying a lot of weight in there. So you don't want it. You want to make sure, if you ever do put a tank down, guys, make sure you put some polystyrene down first. You don't have to have an inch thick. You can have, you can have a couple of mil. You can use that underlay for wooden floor, foil back stuff if you like as well. I've used that in the past, but just put a couple of layers of that down, trim it to size, and that'll keep any imperfections away from the bottom of your tank. We're going to cover that now in some of this Fablon stuff, it's called, and you buy this at any DIY shops. It's just meant for covering different things or anything really, and I find it's really good to put on the back of tanks, sides of tanks, and it's not very expensive to do it either. I mean, you can spray that stuff you've seen me do before with the rubberized spray, Plastidip I think it was called. That was very good. You can use that. There's a multitude of things you can use, but I like to use this because you can take it off later on, and it's very simple to put on. One thing I will say about this little coral room, it is super small, so I'm going to be pretty limited actually videoing, trying to get you a good view, because obviously if I'm stood in the way then you're not going to see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to have to do is tell you what I'm going to do, and then get back to you when I've done it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water in a spray bottle, okay, one of the old squeezy bottles, and I'm going to put 2 drops of fairy liquid washing up detergent in there, okay, and I'm going to mix that up, and I'm going to put a very light spray all over this. Okay, now when you put that stuff on, then you can slide it around and get it exactly where you want it in the corners, okay, and then you get an old credit card or debit card or something like that, something nice and flat and plastic, and you just scrape across like this, and it will scrape all that water forwards, and it will drag that water away and stick down behind it, okay, and then you can run all the water right to the edge, and those little bits and beads of water will fall out, and you'll have a really nice bubble free stuck down vinyl, okay. And you can do that on the outsides of your tanks, no worries at all. This is actually going to be the underside. When that's going to be done, it's going to be flipped over then, so we're not going to be putting detergent on that side, and it's all going to be very well washed and cleaned off anyway. I've done this for years, so don't panic about a little bit of fairy liquid anywhere. That's not going to do any harm to any of your fish later on. It'll all be removed nice and clean. So that's what I'm going to do, okay. I'm going to spray this down now, and if I got room and I think I can film it, I'll do it for you, alright. Right guys, there you go. There is the black background put on the base. Don't worry, that's the strip light reflection you can see in there. All the glass now is put in place. Back panel there, two side panels and the front panel there. So what I've got to do now is polish everything up nice and clean. Not going to do a 1,000,000% job on this one because it's going to be coral frag tank, so it's going to be a breeding tank. It's not going to be a show tank or anything, so I'm just going to carefully run my mastic gun around the outsides like this first, and obviously on the insides. I've done a how to make a tank video before, so you can nip back and see that. I won't take you through all the gluing process again, but that's basically what you do. You just got to stick these silicone these pieces down now on top of each other, obviously down the sides, and then finish off putting a bead all the way around, and I can go through that with you again afterwards when I've done that. So that'll be another job done. Right guys, just for all you inquisitive guys out there that like to know what things are, this is the aquarium sealant that I use. It's called Aquamate, and it's 100% silicone. We've got no fungicidal inhibitors, all that kind of stuff, nothing nasty in there. This is all it is, premium grade aquarium silicone. Okay, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to be adding any antifungicidal stuff which you can buy in a lot of these stuff for the bathrooms and kitchens and all that stuff. Stay well away from all that, okay guys, because you'll have nothing but trouble otherwise. Stick with 100% silicone like these. That's the one I use. So if you're going to make a tank, try and get something similar, or get this one. Right, there you go guys, we have an aquarium all siliconed up. Just the job, look at that. Also, when you're making tanks, also make sure you get a square or a couple of them just to go in the corners, so you can get your 90 degrees that way, and make sure everything's all nice and square. And now we've got to let it dry. I've got my heater going in here, so it's going to be probably, I'm going to leave that now for probably a good, I'd say a good week. Let that really cure off nice and solid. Obviously we've got to drill holes and things, and I've got to make all the pipe work, and all the different valve systems and everything have got to come through the bottom of the tank. I know you say, why did you cover it first? Makes no difference. I'll just drill straight through that as well, cut a little piece off around the base, and then we can put our bulkhead in there that way. So that's good. So we've got a start, we've got an aquarium on the go, the first coral table, chuffed with that. Just gotta let it cure now. Right guys, we've got now, I've just put my couple of skimmers into the tank. I've got a couple of other lift pumps as well, my return pumps. I've got a sump tank in down below, which you can see there, which I haven't actually put in the baffles yet, the individual baffles, which is going to obviously where the skimmer's going to sit, where the bubble traps are going to go, and all that stuff, but we'll get into that at a later date. But we've got that in so far, which is really nice. Happy with that. Now what the next plan is, woodwork wise, I'm going to be taking a 7-foot length all the way across here. I'm going to have a 7-foot long table all the way across here. Well, it's not going to be a table as such. It's going to be a foot square. It's not going to be very big. It's going to be 12 by 12, and it's going to go all the way along this wall. If I can get past some of this rubbish here, my compressors and different things, that might be a little bit better. So basically, it's going to come from that corner there. It's going to go all the way along this wall here, right to the end. Now I'm right at the other end of the room, sat against the back wall where the jellyfish tank's going to go, and then that tank is going to be a foot. It's going to link into that tank. We're going to push that tank across to there, and then we're going to have a foot square, 7-foot long, all the way along here tank, which is going to look really nice. And we're going to have that stuffed with coral frags, different species of corals, and we're going to have some nice wave makers in there. And obviously underneath is going to be another, I'm going to put another 7-foot tank underneath there. So I've got to build two 7-foot long tanks by a foot square, one for a sump tank, one for the main tank across there. We've got to drill it, we've got to put in pipe work, we've got to put in drains, overflows for it to go back down into the sump. Then we're going to put one of them return pumps then back in. That's going to return, recirculate that water back up into the top tank, which is going to be then pushed along nicely by some nice wave makers, which is going to get a lovely wave going all the way down 7 foot, which is going to be exciting. I'm quite excited to see how that's going to work, which is going to keep all that detritus and all that rubbish in the water then suspended, and filter it out of the water back down into the sump and through the filter socks and all that stuff. So that's going to be I'm looking forward to getting into that. Anyway, it's not a massively long video this week, guys. Been a little bit busy doing other things, but I thought I'd keep you up to speed, keep you in the loop with what's going on. And as always, you're all stars. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on Wednesday for another edition of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.